Now we come to a very important topic, that is klystron. Okay, klystron is basically a vacuum tube that can be used either as a generator or as an amplifier of power at microwave frequencies. So in this section we have to study the complete analysis of klystron, that is basically the working principle, figure of klystron, then the complete analysis, uses, etc. of klystron. So this is basically a figure for the two cavity klystron amplifier. As you can see, it is a reentrant cavity. We have already studied the basics of reentrant cavity. That is, what is a reentrant cavity, how we have done the calculated the resonant frequency for a reentrant cavity. So we'll come to the figure of the klystron, two cavity klystron amplifier. Here we can see that there are two cavities. One is called as a buncher cavity. The one cavity which is closer to the cathode is called as the buncher cavity, and the other cavity which is closer to the collector is called as the catcher cavity. Okay, so we will be having a DC voltage provided, and to the buncher cavity we provide the microwave input, and from the catcher cavity we get the microwave output. Okay, so what input we are supplying here, microwave input we are supplying here, we will be getting a amplified version of the output from the catcher cavity. The space between this buncher cavity and the catcher cavity where the electrons is going to drift is called as the drift space. Okay, so the basic working principle, it operates by the principle of velocity modulation and current modulation. Okay, so how the electrons is going to have velocity modulation? That is, initially whatever electrons are coming from the cathode, it is going to arrive at this buncher cavity, say with a uniform velocity. Without any change in velocity, all the electrons first arrive here at the entrance of the buncher cavity. Now what happens when the electrons pass inside the buncher cavity? If the electrons are passing inside the buncher cavity at zeros of the gap voltage or zeros of the signal voltage, it is going to come out of this cavity with no change in velocity. Okay, so it is not subjected to any change in velocity. What happens to the electrons which is passing at the positive of the signal voltage or gap voltage? Obviously, those electrons are going to be accelerated, and those electrons which are passing at the negative point of the signal voltage or gap voltage, those electrons will be further decelerated. So we can say that there is a principle of velocity modulation. The electron, the bunching will occur in this drift space. Okay, since the electron is said to possess a AC component, it is also said to be current modulated. So we will be having the operation by the principle of velocity modulation and the current modulation. Now this density of electrons which is arriving at the catcher cavity is also going to vary cyclically with time. Okay, now the electrons which are coming in this catcher cavity, during the retarding phase they have to supply their energy. Okay, then only it can be collected. We can say that we are getting a amplified output. So there are two cavities here, that is what is written here. Cavity close to the cathode is known as a buncher cavity or input cavity, which is going to velocity modulate the electron beam. Other cavity known as catcher cavity or output cavity, it catches energy from the bunched electron beam. Whatever electrons are bunched here in the drift space, this catcher cavity is going to catch the energy from the bunched electron beam. Now, if asked to explain about the two cavity klystron, we have to give this figure. So as already told, there will be this buncher cavity and the catcher cavity. Now, the drift space is denoted by the letter capital L. Okay, and here we are giving a DC voltage denoted by capital VO. So here high DC voltage, VO value is assumed to be very high. and from the cathode we get the emission of electrons. So these electrons which is arriving at the input of the Buncher cavity, at the entering walls of the Buncher cavity, will be having a unchanged velocity. All are having a uniform velocity. Once it goes inside this cavity, it will be subjected to velocity modulation as told. So there will be bunching of electrons. Bunched electrons will be available in this drift space between this cavity. And we assume that the maximum bunching should occur at the center point of the two cavities. Okay, so again the electrons which are coming at the catcher cavity, the density of the electrons is going to vary at all the cycle. Okay, these electrons, they are supposed to transfer their kinetic energy to the field, the second field. Okay, to the fields of the catcher cavity, then only we can take the RF output. Okay, the electrons which are emerging outside the catcher cavity, they are assumed to have a reduced velocity and they are being collected by the collector. Okay, so this figure in detail shows about the two cavities and about the RF input, RF output, drift space, how the electrons are bunching, and it also shows a denotation for the time interval. T0 is a time taken for the electrons to arrive at the Buncher cavity, T1 time taken to leave the Buncher cavity, T2 to arrive at the catcher cavity, and again T3 to leave from the catcher cavity. Most importantly, remember capital L is a drift space between the cavities, Buncher cavity and catcher cavity, where bunching of electron occur due to the velocity modulation process. Now here the working principle of two cavity klystron is explained as a microwave frequency amplifier operating on the principle of velocity and current modulation. As already stated, those electrons which is injected from the cathode arrive at the first cavity. First cavity here is a Buncher cavity with uniform velocity. Then those passing the cavity gap at zeros of the gap voltage or our microwave signal voltage has got their velocity unchanged. Those electrons which are passing through the positive half cycle of the gap voltage will undergo an increase in velocity. So they are being accelerated, and those which are passing on the negative swings of the gap voltage undergo a decrease in velocity. Okay, so they are being retarded. So as a result, the electrons are going to bunch together as they travel around the drift space. So this variation in the electron velocity in the drift space is known as velocity modulation. Now the electron density in the second cavity gap is obviously going to vary cyclically with time. Why? Because there was bunching of the electrons midway between the two cavities. And the velocity modulated electron, they contain AC components, so it is also said to be current modulated. And we know, I have explained in the figure that the maximum bunching approximately is taking place midway between the two cavities. Okay, between the second cavity grids during the retarding phase, and the kinetic energy is transferred from the electrons to the field of the second cavity. Okay, so when the field of the second cavity is in such a way, maximum retarding, the energy is transferred, kinetic energy is transferred from the electrons to the catcher cavity, from which RF output is being taken. And what about those electrons which are emerging from the catcher cavity? Those electrons which are emerging from the second cavity have got reduced velocity and are collected by the collector. So we know that bunching of electrons is going to take place between the two cavities. So that is what is written here, and also we have to see a very important parameter, that is the bunching parameter denoted by capital X in a two cavity klystron. So the electrons, they will drift immediately after leaving the Buncher cavity analogous along the field free space between the two cavities. Okay, so there is an effect of velocity modulation which is causing this bundling of the electron beam or current modulation. The electrons get so much bunched, and maximum bunching is taking place at the center of the cavities. Now we define the bunching parameter capital X, beta I V1 by 2 VO theta O. Each term is given here. Beta I is a beam coupling coefficient. V1 amplitude of the input signal applied at the buncher cavity. Theta naught is a DC transit angle, and V naught is the anode to cathode voltage. So further, when we are having the analysis of the klystron, two cavity klystron amplifier, we employ this bunching parameter. Before going to the analysis of two-cavity klystron, we will state some of the characteristics and the assumptions taken for the analysis. So some of the characteristics of two-cavity klystron is given, that is regarding the efficiency, power output, power gain. You can go through all this. Then some assumptions are taken for the analysis of the klystron amplifier. First analysis, the electron beam is assumed to have a uniform density. That is, those electrons which are coming from the cathode, from the heated cathode, that electron beam is assumed to have a uniform density in the beginning. Space charge effects are actually we are negligible, that is we are actually neglecting all these space charge effects here. And one more important assumption in an analysis is that the DC accelerating voltage which we have supplied, which is denoted by capital VO, it is going to be very much high when compared to the microwave signal input. That is written in the third point. The magnitude of the microwave signal input is assumed to be much smaller than the DC accelerating voltage. So these are the characteristics and assumptions of the two-cavity klystron amplifier. Here you can read the applications of klystron. They are used at very high bandwidths, that is starting from hundreds of megahertz up to hundreds of gigahertz. Okay, they can find applications in radar, satellite, television broadcasting, satellite terminals, radiation oncology, high energy physics, etc. So first of all, go through the working principle, basic working of klystron amplifier, its characteristic, assumption, etc. And also application before going to the analysis of two-cavity klystron amplifier.